See, one of the things that that we also do a lot of, and that you've spent a lot of time thinking about, I know, and I'm curious about how this does or doesn't translate for our pivotal educators in high school settings, is using more senior students to build community. One of the things that we actually don't do very much in the courses that MC and I teach is we don't actually make much use of graduate students as teaching assistants in kind of an intentional manner, because we value a lot of this idea of kind of like Vygotsky's ideas of like zones of proximal development and like near peers. But also we have a lot more diversity in our student body than we have in our faculty. And so we also think that that's kind of an interesting model. And I guess, and so I'd be interested in hearing you talk a little bit about that, but also hearing from some of the pivotal educators about ways in which kind of the college tradition of having TAs does and doesn't translate into what sorts of things you folks can do to also just increase the diversity of voices and representation on the teaching side of the equation.
Yeah, I've been incredibly fortunate to have a department that's willing to provide me with with undergraduate students that I can pay in order to come to class, in order to serve as mentors, and we do various things together. All of these activities are mentor-led. More importantly, we have entire classes where we have the mentors, but we also bring in other undergraduates throughout our 400, 500 something student biology majors group that will come in and basically be available to talk on a specific topic, whether or not that is how do you get started on research, or it could be which major should I choose, or how do I study abroad and what the study abroad actually bring, and what did I do last summer. That was actually a very popular one, which brought out a lot of different ideas. But the point, and we do that with undergraduates, we also do that with graduate students. It's one of the few ways that the first years get to interact with graduate students as well, both here and in the medical school. And we bring in these graduate students to talk about their research, but we don't just put them in front of the classroom and make them talk. What I find really works well is to just share their bio with the students, put them in different corners of this very large auditorium, give them a box of cookies, and basically have the students grow from person to person. And that particular form of interaction has been incredibly beneficial, and it really helps make the connections. I've had this year, actually, when we had seniors come into our first year into our foundations class to talk about how they got involved in research, many of them referred to those particular interactions. So the way I think about it is that we want the opportunity, and one of the strengths of our students is that they want to form community. Right, and the community that Heidi's program, as well as the first part of the summer, it has been really good about forming communities among, let's say, first generation students. Now we want them to also form community with the biology program, and that has to include opportunities to actually meet the other members of the program, and to meet graduate students, and to meet professors on an informal setting, and so and to meet undergraduates on an informal setting. I don't really know what is happening in those groups. I can't control it, but we do get, I do believe that it actually helps.